So basically, obviously, I don't expect him to ask me, oh, well, what happened? And I don't expect him to want to know the full story. I get being uncomfortable doing that, but I 100% think that in these messages, I made it crystal fucking clear that what he put me through was not okay. It was not normal, and it was an abusive relationship. I just think I made that clear. And no, we were not best friends. No, I wouldn't even consider us close, but we were acquaintances, and he knew me more than he knew Evan. He met Evan through me. I've known James. Like, at the end of the day, he knows me more than he knows Evan. So it's like, with that information, with what I told you, it should have been okay, I understand, and move on. There should not be a second part to this. It should have ended right there, and then none of this shit would have happened. There wouldn't be a drama. There wouldn't be a fucking, this wouldn't be a fucking drama if it ended where it should have. And in my opinion, if you have good morals, it would have ended there. I know people in my life that I have, am acquaintances with, and they would not do that to me, and I would not do that to them. I would not do this to people that I've even collabed with once. I wouldn't do that to somebody. So in my opinion, it should have fucking ended there. And there should have been no communication between him and Evan past that point. But obviously that didn't happen. So a week after I send those text messages, me and Evan are broken up, obviously, but we were not on no communication yet. And so this was, literally the day before I go live and say that I was in an abusive relationship. This was the day before I officially made it no contact and realized, holy shit, I wake up basically. So me and Evan have our final call. And this is when Evan says to me, if you tell people what I did to you, that means you never loved me. That's when he said all of that on the phone. It was our last ever conversation. But in the beginning of that phone call, while we're talking, he brings up me making a 30-part series. And I immediately am like, how the fuck do you know that? And he quote said a 30-part series. The only fucking person that I texted about making a 30-part series was James. James was the only person I told about making a quote 30-part series. Once again, I don't know how true this is. He was abusive. He was literally, we all know by now. But Evan told me that James had sent him screenshots of our messages warning Evan that I was going to make a 30-part series. Once again, don't know how true that is, but it makes fucking sense because on the phone, Evan literally said, so are you going to make that 30-part series about me? And in the text messages, once again, in the messages, I quite literally quote, tune in for the 30-part Who the Fuck Did I Marry series. The fuck? So allegedly, apparently, from what I was told, is that right after sending those text messages telling James that we broke up, James went and DM'd him on Instagram, sent him those text messages to warn him, and then they started to create a friendship. And obviously, that forms to be true when about a month after all of this, I still have not spoken out publicly. The only thing I've done is go on live and say that I was in an abusive relationship. I was not ready to talk about the details of it. Still healing, okay? But I'm scrolling on Snapchat and I see that Evan had posted a Snapchat in the exact area that James lives in a backyard that looked identical to James's backyard. And immediately I was like, there's no fucking way. Because this was about a month after I had been told that they were DMing. Why are y'all DMing for a fucking month? The fuck? So I text James and I'll just green screen them again. And mind you, the last time that we texted was me telling him that we broke up, okay? I text him on March 1st saying, this is so random, hope you're doing good. Are you with Evan? He says, what? Your ex Evan? Doesn't say yes, doesn't say no. I said, yes, posted a picture, looked like your backyard. He goes, why would Evan be in my backyard? Later to find out that he was in his backyard and that James had flown him out to California and they spent the entire fucking weekend together. Spent the entire fucking weekend together. And honestly, if you knew you weren't doing anything wrong, why didn't you just straight up answer my fucking question and say, yeah, he's here, we're friends? Like, And in James's video, he was saying that, oh, well, he seemed depressed and sad and like he needed a friend. I have a lot to say about that, but first thing, if you're just being there for a friend and that you think he's a good person, why do you feel the need to have to lie to me about it? Why do you feel the need to have to lie to me about it? If you truly don't think you're doing anything wrong, why did you lie? Why did you lie about it? And then also keep it such a secret. Second off, you're being there for a quote friend that is your ex or your friends, acquaintances, ex-boyfriend that I told you was abusive. Like, what the fuck? It's just like, moral of the story is like, you obviously knew you were doing something fucking wrong if you had to lie to me about it, you know? So that entire weekend that they're together, I drive past James's house to see if I could see anything, because I was like, I need fucking proof. Like, I know they're together, but I need proof because I'm so pissed. Obviously, don't see anything, and at this point, I'm just, I don't know what's going on. I have no proof, but I have a gut feeling that they are together, that they are hanging out. Fast forward another month. Me and James do not text. Nobody ever comes clean about anything. Nobody says anything, nothing. I release my he doesn't love you, and I talk about everything that he had done to me, and me and James still are not talking. He still does not text me and say, hey, I'm sorry, doesn't try to explain himself, nothing. And in my opinion, that's because he didn't think he'd get caught. He didn't think I'd find out, so he had no reason to tell me firsthand. And that's why this shit really pisses me off. I end up texting James, asking to FaceTime for a segment on my podcast because Jacob had this funny idea that we were going to FaceTime James, and James is going to be like, ew, Jacob, and then like hang up. It was supposed to be like this funny bit. I could include screenshots. Literally the next text, a month later, after me asking if he had flown my ex-boyfriend out, I literally just say, hey, totally normal conversation. He does not bring it up, nothing. At this point, I don't have proof to back up my theory, so cool, whatever. But yeah, he doesn't say anything, acts like everything is normal. So then it is Coachella weekend, a couple weeks later, and a video is posted exposing James to have flown my ex-boyfriend out to California. The second that this video goes public, James starts to blow up my phone, asking if I'm at Coachella, saying that we need to talk. I immediately already knew what he was talking about. Are you at Coachella? Yeah, I am. Can I talk to you? I shut it down. I don't want to fucking talk to you. He says, I felt guilty for weeks and I didn't know how to tell you, and I owe the truth. I explained it to you from my mouth, not the Zach guy, and then you can feel however you want to. To me, it's quite ironic that you suddenly feel guilty about this the second that it's made public. You know what I mean? Like, you suddenly feel guilty once, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I text him, I've known for a while, but I saw the proof today. I'm just shocked. There's a ton to explain. I'm annoyed with myself for allowing you to find out this way instead of just telling you myself. I say, okay. He then says, he manipulated me as well, and I fell for it. To when I then reply, I got so pissed off. How did you get to the point for him to manipulate you? I told you he abused me the day we broke up. Then you texted him that day that I told you that. But I'd rather talk to you about this tomorrow. You met him because he was my boyfriend. After that, James did try to reach out multiple times. He wanted to meet up and talk, and I'll give him credit for that. I can tell he feels guilty. He was blowing me up for days and days after that. Wrote me long paragraphs, just a lot of stuff. I personally decided not to respond. I decided not to meet up with him because, quite frankly, what the fuck do you have to say? And after waiting for him to come out with his response video, I'm honestly happy I didn't meet up with him to hear what he had to say, because it clears up nothing for me. What happened, happened. You knew he was my abusive ex-boyfriend. I'm going to have to make a part fucking 3. Jesus fucking Christ. Once again, not on the payment program. I'm not doing this for money. I literally am not making a dime from this. Once again, just clocking the fucking T. I did not expect this to be 30 fucking minutes.